Well, hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a painting with mountains and trees and water. This is an image from the Dolomites in Italy, and I think it's just really beautiful. It has a lot of features in it that are things I've been enjoying painting lately. Mostly the mountains and the reflections. It just has great colors, so I may make some adjustments to the composition on it a little bit just to make it a little bit more interesting, but I think I've got a great starting place anyway. I'm going to be working on a board today. Back kind of into that just for the brighter colors. It's got a slightly different shape than I've normally done. It's like a little bit wider, a little bit shorter than some of my other paintings because I have an idea for this, which we'll see. I'll tell you more about that later. Let's see. So yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. I'm gonna start with a liquid layer on this. I'm gonna start with a kind of a blue-gray, which is kind of the predominant color in the mountains. I'm gonna go on the lighter side of that. And yeah, I'll start with that. And the sky and the furthest mountains are really the brightest in this painting. So I'm thinking about whether I wanted to do a liquid layer for the whole thing in that color, or if I want to I might just do the sky and some of the water, just because the other area is pretty dark. So I may hold that to second and do a second sort of liquid layer for that area. Yeah, let's give it a shot. So, go ahead and get a little bit more white out of here. Actually, I'm just going to use my tube because that one is getting a little bit clumpy. So, put some white. Okay, make a good amount of this. And for the blue-gray tone, I'm going to use a little bit of burnt sienna and a little bit of ultramarine, I think. Shouldn't take a whole lot. Let's see. Get a little bit of linseed oil going in here. Sort of figure if I mix this tone first and then go into it with a little bit of white, I'll have a better sense of where it's going. A little bit warm. I'm gonna get a little more ultramarine. That's more the look. So it's sort of a blue-gray. Okay. I'll take a bunch of this. It's got the sky in this image has sort of a cloudy blue-gray look to it. Actually, I don't need all of this white. I think I'm gonna move some of this off over here. It's about the right tone. Add some of this solvent. This is the lavender spike oil. And this mixes into the paint and ultimately it will all dry. There's nothing left of it once it dries. It all ends up in the air. So there is not. This will make it liquidy for now, and then it will dry out later. And I'm going to also add some linseed oil to this. Use my dropper for that as well. Maybe about the same amount. linseed oil doesn't dry away, so that actually stays in the paint and actually extends the paint. So it will still, it'll sort of, the thickness that it gives will stay on the canvas, I guess. That's the best way to think about it. The paint itself is actually made up of linseed oil and then a pigment, so it just makes the paint a little more liquidy. All right, let's try that out. Actually got a few new brushes here. I'll try this one out first. 2-inch hake brush? Hake? I don't know how you say it. Just a little bit bigger than my other one. I wanted to try something else a little different. Especially as I've been thinking about working on the bigger canvases a little bit more. Let's see. Seems to work well though. I like my brushes with long handles on them, but I also realize that like I never hold them by the ends. You probably should. I think it's technically more efficient if you do, but get out of there. Always a bristle. I never get through anything without finding a bristle somewhere that I don't want it. Should be a nice brush for some blending too. Sometimes you want to do some nice big expressive shapes. Get out of there. Get out of there. Good test, I guess. It's a new brush. I probably should have washed it out once just to get any really loose bristles, but I didn't. That'll be fine. All right, that's pretty good. And the other place I was thinking about putting this down was right in this corner here. A lot of this area is really dark with the trees, so if I have a light layer underneath it, it's just gonna make all those colors a bit lighter than I actually want them to be. So I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I do think I might fill that area a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it just yet. I think I'll get into the rest of it. Just wash this brush out. The other one, I almost didn't use the other one because I realized it wasn't going to fit in my brush washer. So, I have a bigger brush washer too, but I didn't feel like it was necessary for this. Yeah. Seems like a good image for a day like today. Really thinking about winter being over. I feel like the seasons haven't quite decided yet though what they're doing. It might get 60 or 70 degrees, or we might get snow. It's the fun of spring in New England, I guess. Alright, so I think I'm gonna grab a knife and start. Do I want want to fill in this area. I'm indecisive right now. Let's mix up some more colors. Alright. I think this is a good knife for it. So I'm going to mix up a couple of colors. So I've got, put some clouds in. Those are going to be white. Maybe I'll even do those. I'll start working those in right now. So a little bit of white. Just start putting in some shapes for that. I like how when you put the clouds in with a knife like this, it just starts to blend. So even though I'm putting a white in, it's not going all the way to white. I can put another layer in later if I want to get it even brighter. But it saves me from having to mix up quite so many different tones to start with. That's why I like doing this wet method to start. And you just can be a little bit freer, a little bit more expressive. That looks pretty nice. Okay. And then I'll take this brush and just brush these out just a little bit. Going over these pretty gently. I don't want to even take out all the knife marks. I just want to make some of these edges a little bit softer. Part of the fun of painting with paint. All right, looks good. I'm going to make a similar color to what I started with here. Grab a little ultramarine, a little burnt sienna, and mix up a tone for the mountains a little bit further back. So I made kind of a browner one and I made kind of a bluer one here. We got a little bit more weight to this. Yeah, that's about right. Maybe even one step, a little bit more blue, a little bit more white. It's good to have some different ones to work with. Yeah, because as you look at a mountain chain, there's always like different areas where the sun is hitting. Just different amounts, warming it up, cooling it off. Sort of bluest tone here. I'm just going to start making this very top ridge here. Even go a little higher. These are very, very sharp mountain peaks. So many of them too. I don't know that I'll get. It's not going to be completely accurate, but it should be pretty nice. So I'm just going to continue moving around here, putting in these. I kind of always look at the top, sort of top profile first. That's where it's touching the sky. And defines it the most in a way. Just bringing this down, keep kind of making these different shapes here. I like these mountains. They have a little bit of snow in them. But then I've also got the grass and trees in the foreground, so it doesn't look too cold. All right. Grab a little bit more blue even here. Let's see. Just shifting it as I see it. This is, I'm not planning for this to be my last layer on these, but I'm gonna let it sort of evolve. There we go. Try not to put my finger in the painting. Okay. Maybe even a little bit. A little green and a little bit back here. Let's see. It says, as these mountains are coming kind of toward us, these are more green. Just letting the blue and green kind of mix. Create some different things. Maybe even a little phthalo here. Bit even more of a purple, a little bit of white, and there's sort of another section a little bit further back over here. There we go. It's starting to take shape a bit. I'll take the brush and just kind of sweep some of these shapes down here. Come back in here. There's a little bit of like a bowl where the snow is sitting. I don't think I need to really build up too much in this area just yet. Just kind of blend it out. I think sometimes these little quick brush strokes are a nice way to just create a little bit of motion in here. Almost kind of think of coming back here later, putting a little bit more texture in, but kind of get like a little bit of a big impression of what's going on with some of these. Helps it just kind of blend into some of these different grays here. Yeah, I'm gonna risk messing up some of this stuff. So I think I'll be able to do more. Sometimes it's like if you have too much of this original color showing through full strength, it's just like a little bit jarring. I feel like it's easier to pull a detail back out later than it is to sort of soften things in a way that looks right later on. I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about a little bit. Kind of dashing in some of these peaks where they are too, because I want them represented in the water later. Let's see. That's pretty good. Okay. I think my meridian's a little clumpy. I'm gonna just cut that out of there to start with a fresh set. I'm thinking about painting some trees. Do I want to use meridian? I might do something fun. Let's switch. I'm gonna try this phthalo emerald instead of iridian today. Well, they're kind of similar, but I've been wanting to use it a little bit more, and this seems like a nice way to get to know it better. Just do that. Let's see. Phthalo blue as well. Use that to start coming forward a little bit. So, and how's my alizarin doing? I'll clean that out a little bit too. I always use, when I use Viridian, I tend to always use alizarin too, because I usually don't want a full strength green. Almost, it's very little green that needs to be that bright, so yeah, I think that'll be good. So we'll take a bit of that, a bit of this, and just see how that comes out as a start. I think I like that. I think it's really rich. Okay. So putting in kind of a base for these trees here that I see. Thinking about this composition, I think I'm going to kind of exaggerate this shoreline a little bit. I've got a little bit of a curve coming in here, but it's fairly straight across in the actual picture. But I think that it's just not quite necessary. I think it's just causing it to look a little bit less dynamic than it can. Add a little bit of linseed oil into this as well. Maybe even mix in a little bit of this background color. Noticing this sort of shoreline here could be a little streaky. I'm going to go a little bit dark into this water. And I'll probably add the shoreline a bit more after. Oops. Stay in place. I think going right in here, sort of fully dark for some of this water. It's actually a nice way to work because it just gives it a little bit more, I don't know, atmosphere maybe is the word I'm looking for. Try that and see how you feel about it. All right, so in the water here, I've got the same sort of tree shapes, same sort of mountain shapes, but everything's a little bit more blue, at least toward the middle of it. So just gonna keep focusing on putting that in nice and dark. Going a little bit more meridian, a little bit more alizarin. Put a good amount of paint down for this. Like that. Work in a couple layers and sort of blend it out, but I kind of like this process of drawing with the knife first, no matter what. So just keep doing that. So some of these are nice because I'm kind of letting these trees go in here in a few layers. As they go back toward the mountains, they're fading a little bit lighter, picking up a little bit of this sort of gray tone that I put down originally. Then also letting me put them a little bit darker as I get closer here. It's funny, I try to use the shape of the knife. It's so close to the shape of the tree, but it doesn't work as well as just going like this. Just going over it again. I kind of put like more pressure at first and then a little bit less as I go up. And right now I'm seeing there's definitely some greens in here that could use a little bit more yellow, but I'm kind of staying out of the warm tones for right now. I'm trying to get the shapes in here though that I see. Go a little bit more green and white here. Just as I'm getting a little bit further away. create a little bit of atmosphere. Okay. I've got some trees that are further back, a couple of sort of rolling hills. Let's do a little bit of ultramarine in here. These trees that are a little bit more into the background. So trying to do kind of the general shapes here. I like making these little tree tips. There we go. Got a lot of drama in this scene, I think. Funny, I guess in a way, like mountains they're a bit like trees, where they all have kind of their own types of languages, depending where they are and how they were formed. A little bit. I want to get some sort of a lighter gray or green in here. Might even be time to add a little bit of yellow. Try that for now. I don't want to go fully light yet. Just want to kind of like create a place for these hills that are more grassy. There we go. It's getting there a little bit. Let's see. I'm gonna try and put in just a little titanium. A bit of this green. Maybe a bit of cadmium yellow light, which I don't always use, but sometimes it's a good one to have in your kit. Let's see. I think it's easy with this color to sort of overshoot it, but I just kind of wanted to try tossing a little bit of this back here for now. just a little bit. Let's brush it out just a little. I think it'll see if this, it almost disappears. Doesn't take much. There we go. I'm trying to vary these different trees a little bit. These ones that are a little further back just have a little bit more. Like a little pointier, I guess, maybe. I think that's looking pretty good though. Try and create a little bit more different shapes here. I think lately I've been doing a lot of this where I'll go in and sort of hit this with a brush, and then I come back and with a knife I can create even more different types of colors, different types of shapes. There we go. It gives me some more options in the next layer. Keep this a little bit thin here too. I want to lose that waterline. I'm going to come in here with some lighter colors in a minute. That's why I'm kind of trying to make a little bit of a softer texture, because if I go on with lighter tones onto too dark of a tone here, okay. So next thing, I'm just going to keep working into the water here. I'm seeing that the sort of overall color for the way that these mountains are reflected is a much sort of darker blue than what I have above. So I'm going to take a little Severus blue, a little phthalo blue, and let's see, maybe that's a place to, and maybe I'll make one other tone. Actually, I'm doing alizarin and ultramarine blue, just to have a couple different options in here. Start with the Severus phthalo mix though. Just mostly here. I'm trying to put all these shapes in that I've got. I've got a little bit of this a little darker, a little more purple over here. almost just use gravity to help you line this stuff up too. Like, you know, this peak here, I've got this little spot here. Just a kind of easy way to check if I'm going. This is a little bit more green in here. Just kind of blend that in. A lot of this I'm going to sort of brush out afterwards. Just trying to get things about where they go. Let's see. It's almost a little bit of white in here. That just streak that in. Make a little more Severus. This right in here is very, so it has a lot of variation. There's a lot of reflection. Some of these clouds coming in. Same with over here. And two. Some of this, because I'm like kind of mixing on the canvas as much as I'm mixing on the palette. I find a little bit planning what paint I want to have on here that's wet that I mix into. There we go. It's kind of a good look. And as the more of it I get filled in, the more it starts to make a bit more sense. It's pretty nice. It's a little bit in the sky. I'm going to try and bring just a little bit more blue into the sky, a few spots here. So it starts giving a little bit more shape to these clouds. I think that's a pretty good approximation of most of the colors. So now I'm going to be kind of working on sort of detail and like the overall feel of it. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. So next thing I want to do is I'm gonna blend out some of this water a little bit. Feels like I'm losing a lot of detail here, but I'm not really. I guess kind of just have to trust it. Lately, whenever I've been watching these, I've been, I'll like edit. I'll be like, oh, I can't believe I just did that. And then the result, though, from having like worked on it, blurred it out, and then gone back into it, just really has a lot more. Somehow like a lot more life to the real thing later. So just it's pretty nice. To put a little bit of white right in there too. popping a little bit of white onto this. It's like I've got a sort of liquid dark layer almost now for the water. It really works for creating all these little reflections, all these little things that really make these tree shapes here. A little bit more here. And there's just like so much going on here. These different mountain layers, different sort of cloud reflections. It's kind of a little bit of everything. Let's see. Clean this brush out a bit more. Maybe I should try the new brush. Try this one out too. See how it does for this sort of blending. So I'm going to go across a little bit. Just really, that's working pretty well. Brush is definitely like a little bit more, it's like more stringy. There's something about the texture. It's kind of, I like it for the horizontal, but I didn't like it as much for the vertical. It's interesting. Let's top up my brush cleaner. I need a little bit more in this thing. It's got a little bit low. Take this little one in here, actually just create this reflected tree line that I'm seeing. I really love these reflected trees. I think it kind of helps create this sort of like woven texture where I'm seeing sort of different layers of things going on here. Like some areas I'll see a lot more of the shoreline or whatever's going on. And then other areas I'm seeing more of like the glare. Like just kind of working back and forth. Helps you get that kind of layered look to the water. I'm trying to figure out, I don't know. I'm try and learn a bit more photography so that I can get good pictures for water references. But I think there's something with like, I don't know, using a polarizing, maybe either, I don't know if it's like with a polarizing filter or like not. I'm guessing maybe it is, since there's like, you can see through the water probably a little bit more than like a normal snapshot. certain things you can see with your eye, but you can't see with a camera, or you can't see. I don't know. It's interesting. It's no one right only way, I guess, to see. So, it's getting a little bit light here, but I'm thinking I'm going to layer a little bit more down. I like these tops getting a little bit soft though. Let's see. There we go. Try and keep kind of similar marks. So I've got them. It's a little bit tough. I've got this. Working on some of these peaks again too. Getting pretty close. Pretty close to a break anyway. I don't know. Still, I guess in a way I feel like I'm always like kind of reinventing my process and trying something new. A little bit more, actually maybe even some of these green tones. There we go. looking pretty good. Clean this out a little bit. I've got a shoreline to put in. I think I may try waiting and doing that after this sets up a little bit. Because I think I've got a lot of good colors on here right now. And I don't really want to lose that. I think that'll be nice. I'm gonna do just a little bit of softening on these clouds, I think, and that'll be it for today. Pretty well cleaned out. Just a little softness on these. There we go. Yeah, I think I'll leave this here for now and be back to finish it up. Alright, and I'm back. Let's see how we're doing tonight. Just get a sense of. Paint's still pretty wet. I set up a little bit. I didn't really do anything too special to make this dry quicker. It's only been about a day, so it's not particularly surprising. I'm gonna keep kind of working back into this. I want to do main areas mainly as like putting a bit more texture onto the mountains, sort of continuing to build up the clouds a little bit more, adding some snow, and then also giving a little bit of attention to the waterline, and maybe putting in a few more specific trees. I think we'll probably keep this one fairly simple. That's the idea anyway. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna go into the mountains. Do mountains first or clouds first? maybe just a little bit with clouds first. I'm going to use for clouds, I'm going to use this knife that's sort of rounded for mountains. I'm going to use this one that's a little bit more pointed. I'm just going to grab a little bit of white. So really I'm just looking to build these up just a little bit more. Kind of feather a couple of these edges. Fine with the clouds if you work on them in a few different layers, it just really makes them look a bit more puffy. So. It's all kind of about the sort of positive and negative shapes, I guess. So right now I've got these blue areas that I had put in a little late yesterday, and they're kind of taking away some of the puffiness because they're kind of carving into these, but I think I can just work over them a little bit. Kind of looking at just the different sort of overall shapes I see. Might not take a whole lot, you know. Just a little extra here and there. Definitely a sky that has a lot of different things going on. It's definitely much more brightly lit over on this side, and then it's a bit more kind of a hazy fog over on this side. And that's got a pretty good look, I think. I don't think I need to do too much more with that, actually. I may do a little bit of the same down here. Doesn't have to be quite as strong. This area is a lot more blue, but I feel like just a little bit of the same sort of texture isn't a bad thing either. I think that might be enough, just like that. Maybe just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now for a little more mountain attention. So the main thing I want to start bringing in is I think some of these really strong vertical shadows to start with. And then I'm going to also bring in a little bit of snow, which maybe I want to do. Maybe I'll do the snow first, actually. Let's grab a little bit of white for that. And just try putting in a little bit there. Yeah, actually, I think that's going to help because I'm going to have these shadows, but they don't really have as much snow on them. So the snow's kind of sitting on the areas that are a little bit more horizontal. So try and bring those in. A little bit more kind of flowing down here. Got a little bit more of the same kind of down here. So this little bowl of snow is kind of sitting into. I love how the knife gives that, it just makes that snow texture so easily. trying to use kind of the minimum of pressure. Just let this kind of grab a little bit of texture that's there. It's kind of a little opportunity to highlight some of these tree tips too. I don't want to leave those sharp, but I do like that the light's kind of poking through them a little bit. And I think I'll mix up my more shadowy color. Use some ultramarine and some white to start. That's actually, it's pretty nice. Just start bringing this shadowy edge down here. Some of these sort of strong verticals. It just adds a little bit of extra thickness to these as well. A little bit more, a little bit, even a little darker. A little more ultramarine. I've been really going through this stuff. I think because the ultramarine compared to the phthalo blue is very, I don't know, it's not quite as strong. So if you mix it into things, it tend to need more of it than I'll go through it at a little bit of a quicker rate, but that's okay. Get a little bit more white in here. So, kind of some different shapes in here. It's really, it makes it stand out a little stronger against the clouds in a way. In a way, I feel like these mountains almost become more part of the sky than part of the land, though. They're so strong and so bright. But I wanted to give them a little more of a stony texture still. Just bringing that extra contrast in does do a lot. It's coming together. Okay, get a little bit more of that sort of shadow over here. funny how they start out looking so flat, and then the more you kind of work into them and define different types of shapes, it starts to really come together. It doesn't take a lot either, you know. It's not like I did a huge amount from where I started this morning, but made a difference. I like these color transitions are all pretty nice over here. That shape is a little bit off though. These ones are just a little bit more rounded versus these, which are much more sharp. And put in a couple more little peaks here. Just really drive that very pointed, rocky texture. I don't want to accidentally soften or smooth that out too much either. Pretty good. Okay. Let's step back a second. I'm gonna switch knives. And this is a little pointy one a little bit. I wanna just take a little bit of this. I don't really wanna smooth it like I would with a brush. I want to keep it still kind of sharp looking, but I want to sort of contour it a little bit differently. Get these like very sort of spotted looking shapes, which are not quite what I was looking for. Moving out some of these areas are a little bit not flat. I don't think flat is the right term for over here, but they're probably not quite as vertical. So just kind of trying to work these shapes in a little bit more. Just kind of creating this like look of these little snow trails and contours and things. Different routes. Some of these, I just want to break up these knife marks just a little bit. They're just they look too big, and that makes them look too close in a way. So I'm just having them be a little rougher, a little bit more spotty, I think. It's actually kind of helpful to them. Good. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit of work to this waterline. Actually, I'll zoom in on my reference for that. So the main thing is kind of as the light is kind of cutting in here, in between these trees, you get a little bit, it's brighter, a little bit sharper. I've also got some big rocks here. Put the rocks in a second. I think I'm going to put the sort of lighter tones in the grasses first. Yeah, I think that'll do. So I'll get some of my phthalo emerald that is, and a little bit of this cadmium yellow light. I'm just putting that in. Start working a little bit of a shoreline in here. So I didn't want to do this yesterday because I thought it was going to get a little too sort of mucky. I felt like I might be able to do a little bit better once the paint's set up more. So we'll see. Hopefully, right? Even add a little bit of that coming in here. I think the other thing I'll be able to do is add in some more trees that are a little bit more defined here since they're a little bit closer. So for my rocks, I think I'm going to do, those are going to be pretty blue as well, so I'm going to do ultramarine. Maybe I'll make an even darker one. Maybe I'll do a red green dark as well. Let's see, I've got the lights mostly coming from this side over here. I'm gonna just drop in a few dark shadows for these. I'm not gonna worry about them being in the same place as this reference. They're just kinda in here. These are some, I said rocks, but they're definitely some kind of large, more bouldery shapes. Probably made out of whatever the mountains are too. And go kind of a light putting in some of these sort of lower green doesn't mix into my rocks quite the way I had hoped. It's okay though, they're not too bad. Trying to get the right feel. I don't think this is going to be a highly detailed looking painting, but I think that it's going to look nice, and it's going to be sometimes pretty is a good enough goal, I think. And I think this is going to be pretty. So I'm going to keep working on some different tree shapes in here. A little bit of light. A little darker though, I should get some of these kind of evergreens in here a little bit lighter too. They're a bit more blue than green. They don't really turn like yellow when they're lit up. They just kind of turn a little brighter, a little bluer. Maybe this one even comes up a little tall. Sort of happy tree kind of fashion. Like that. I think just breaking up that tree line a little bit helps. If I put it in up there, I'm gonna put it in down here. At least to a degree. It doesn't have to be too accurate. It just kind of has that effect. So almost the way I'm putting it in the grass, almost the way I would put it in the snow if I were painting snow. But there's not snow down here. I'm gonna get in the rhythm of doing some greener scenes now. A little bit of a white edge too. Just keep. Do a little bit more of these trees over here too. I think just having a little variety so the plants don't look too kind of cookie cutter is important. Let's zoom back out on my reference now. Maybe enough concern for detail for a minute. I think that's really good. Keep putting a little bit more of this. Sort of waterline here too. It's very lush. The one area I'm still feeling like I want a little bit more sharpness too is actually right here on this tree line. I feel like having more contrast here will be good. And just kind of brings your eye up the center here. So these are the things you kind of have to, it's good if you have a plan for them, but sometimes it's just in terms of kind of working it out. It might require additional attention. So just putting in some white here. And I can kind of move it around a little bit and get my mountain texture back. But I think that just brings you into the scene a little bit more. Gonna do a little bit of refinement here and there. I think I'm probably pretty close on this though. The other thing I'm going to do is actually just a little bit more of a highlight back here. Specifically on this one hill. I think that might do it. Yeah. It's tempting to keep going, but I almost feel like when it's done, it's done. And this one ended up being kind of quick. But definitely back. I'm kind of back in the mode of wanting to paint a lot of water with reflections again, though. It's like really satisfying. Seeing these little rocks that are sort of under the surface here. I love that. I love seeing that transition from the sort of visible under the water to the reflected over the water. There's no, like, I don't know, there's probably a right way to do it, but it's almost like always challenging enough that everyone kind of has to solve it their own way. Let's see. I love these colors. I'd have to keep exploring those a bit more. I don't know. I think when it's done, it's done. I'm gonna let this one be. Yeah, like I said, I'm tempted to work on it a little bit more, but there's no like obvious thing that I feel like it needs at this point. And I think it's okay to let that be the way it is then. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, or whatever you're off to next.